Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our today's topic is an overview of poultry industry in Pakistan, and this is the first topic from poultry science or poultry production portion of this course. So let's start with the lecture. So in Pakistan, poultry sector is playing an important role in bridging the gap between the supply and demand for protein. So this poultry sector is very important and plays pivotal role in no doubt from nutritional point in Pakistan, but also from financial gains, and has really a great contribution in the GDP of Pakistan. So today's topic in this topic I will be discussing with you the history of poultry industry in Pakistan. In this history, there are some periods starting from 1965 to 1970, and the history of poultry industry in Pakistan has been divided in different phases, starting from introductory phase to institutional development phase, then the depression and adjustment phase, then severe disease outbreaks and re-emergence of the industry, and then poultry industry or poultry farming in recent times. So I will also be discussing with you the seasonal variation in the prices of poultry products, exports from the poultry sector, and poultry industry in Pakistan, and avian influenza. So commercial poultry farming, it started in Pakistan in the early 1960s and showed rapid growth over the decades. So the early growth of this sector was the result of the promotional policies from the government and the persistency of the poultry farming community. The government considered the poultry production chain to be a crucial part of the food processing industry and gave special incentives to this sector, and hence the poultry sector was declared free of sales and income tax, as well as exempt from the import duties for a number of years. So as a result of these policies, during the early 1970s, the sector saw 20 to 30% growth rate per annum and continued to grow at a rate of 10 to 15% in 1980s. So the most important reason for this growth was a vibrant domestic market, due to which poultry meat consumption increased more than 4% per year. So in Pakistan, poultry production is one of the most dynamic and well organized sectors, contributing almost 26.8%, 5.76% and 1.26% respectively to the total meat production, agriculture sector, and overall GDP. So in the last few years, the poultry sector has shown excellent growth and has emerged as a source of employment for more than 1.5 million people. So let's start the history of poultry industry in Pakistan. The first phase is I will be discussing with you the introductory phase or introductory period, which starts from 1965 to 1970. But before that, I would like to enlighten that before 1963, native chickens, they provided the source of eggs and meat in Pakistan. And these birds produce on average 0.769 kg of meat at the age of 4 months, and lay almost 30 to 60 eggs a year. So because these birds were raised as a result of the backyard activity to meet individual household needs. But in 1965 to 66, an improved variety of chicken called Lailpur Silver Black, LSB, it was introduced by the Department of Poultry Husbandry at the University of Agriculture, Faisalabad. So how this breed was developed? This breed was developed by crossing the native Desi breed with 3 imported breeds, namely White Leghorn, White Cornish, and New Hampshire, in a two-way cross-breeding program to develop a breed that could survive under the harsh climate or environmental conditions of rural areas, as well as being capable of producing up to 150 eggs per year. So this was about a breed, LSV. And then in the mid 1960s, Pakistan International Airlines, in collaboration with the Shaver Poultry Breeding Farms of Canada, they established Pakistan's first commercial hatchery in Karachi, which is in Sindh province. So at the same time, Lever Brothers Private Limited, they established the first commercial poultry feed mill in the district Rahim Yar Khan in the Punjab province. So if we start the introductory phase of poultry industry or poultry sector in Pakistan, so in this phase, early poultry ventures, especially those involving financial risks, were strongly supported by the government. So poultry production was exempt from national tax levies. Poultry producers were allowed to import genetically improved breeding stocks and equipment as duty-free items. So the perception of human protein deficiency in Pakistan, excellent profit margins, availability of technologies, and support from the government were the main forces behind shaping the early structure of the industry. So the Directorate of Poultry Production in Karachi was established in order to provide extension services to a steadily growing poultry farming community. So this was the period from 1965 to 1970. The next phase is 1971 to 1980, which is also known as institutional development phase. So with the poultry-friendly policies of the government and good profits, poultry production developed as a profitable enterprise in Pakistan. The success of this sector encouraged the government to strengthen institutions serving this industry. So this era was characterized by the establishment of the Federal Poultry Board in 1979 in order to establish an effective link between industry and government. Poultry research institutes were established in 1978 in Karachi and Rawalpindi with assistance from UNDP of FAO funds to provide research services to poultry farmers. So this era is considered a boom period in the history of the poultry industry in Pakistan. Special incentives made by the Sindh government in terms of availability of state land for poultry farming under 10-year leases and the nationalization of other industries by the federal government, it attracted a number of entrepreneurs to this sector. So, however, in this period, the poultry industry suffered in terms of limited marketing opportunities due to the imposition of a ban on the export of poultry products. Disease problems, relatively high prices of poor quality feed, and a limited supply of feed ingredients further deteriorated the situation. So during this period, or meanwhile, the Pakistan Poultry Association, it was established in 1979 to promote lobbying to uplift the status of the industry and farmers. So from 1971 to 1980, the poultry industry, it experienced 177% overall growth in total number of birds, 271% in terms of total poultry meat production, and 297% total number of eggs respectively. So in this period, there are some major policy decisions by the government that helped the earlier growth of the industry, which includes, for example, number one is a exemption of taxes from the income and earned from poultry farming, permission to import poultry equipments and flocks under the free list, leasing of state land at nominal rates, provision of subsidies on grains to formulate low-cost, high-quality rations, declaration of Tuesday and Wednesday as meatless days all except chicken to promote its consumption, establishment of poultry research institutes, directorates of poultry production and Federal Poultry Board with the motives to train poultry farmers and provide research services and to create a link between the government and poultry farming community. And the last one was the facilitation to the availability of loans through different financial institutions. So this was the institutional development phase, which started from 1971 to 1980. The next phase was the depression and adjustment phase, which is between 1981 to 1990. So during this period, the poultry industry, it underwent a unique geographic relocation. In the early 1980s, the size and volume of poultry industry, it showed a remarkable decrease in the Sindh province. Additionally, poultry farms located in different clusters, they faced a number of problems. Disease outbreaks and decreased productivity due to the climatic stress required long-term solutions. So keeping all these constraints in mind, more progressive farmers, they decided to relocate farms to the relatively cooler and more biosecure northern areas of Pakistan. So during this phase, the poultry industry experienced almost 118% growth in terms of total number of birds, 190% growth rate in overall meat production, and 94% growth in terms of egg production. So this was the depression and adjustment phase. Then another era which started from 1991 to 2000, it's an era of, or the phase of severe disease outbreaks and re-emergence of the industry. So this period or phase was characterized by a number of disasters in the industry, especially from disease. Hydropericardium syndrome, HPS, it appeared in 1990 and caused a huge damage to broiler and broiler breeder flocks. Gumboro appeared in 1991 and adversely affected broiler, layer and parent flocks. While the industry was trying to adjust itself from the earlier HPS and Gumboro attacks, an other outbreak of influenza in Murree and Abbottabad in 1995 occurred in the parent flocks and caused up to 80% mortality. So the emergence of these diseases, it opened new avenue in the industry, whereby prophylactic measures regarding vaccination and biosecurity were introduced. New companies for the import of vaccines and medicines were established. The University of Agriculture in Faisalabad, poultry and veterinary research institutes, they played important roles in controlling these problems. So on the other hand, lack of planning, it led to an oversupply of parent stock in the country in 1996. So which caused a sharp decline in day-old chick prices below the cost of production. In 1997, the imposition of a ban by the federal government on serving lunch in marriage functions where chicken was consumed, it further deteriorated the situation as it reduced the demand of poultry products in the local market by about 40%. So in 1998, chick prices improved and breeding and hatchery companies became more financially secure. But in 1999, the industry again suffered due to the appearance of influenza-like disease. So despite the industry experiencing heavy losses during this phase, it kept on growing and showed an excellent growth rate in terms of total number of birds produced, overall poultry meat production, and total number of eggs produced, with the growth values of almost 99, 125 and 67% respectively. So after this period, the last phase is poultry farming in recent times, which started from 2001 until now, and it's still going on. So the poultry industry started to stabilize in the late 1990s by gaining better profit margins on poultry products. And in this time, new investors, they entered into the industry and adopted modern technologies such as environmentally controlled housing. And in this phase, the industry received huge investments from new investors, and poultry farming started shifting from open-sided houses to new state-of-the-art barns. So the establishment of the University of Veterinary and Animal Science in Lahore in 2002, it was a further step towards extending support to this fast-growing industry in Pakistan by helping solve disease issues and providing trained personnel.